Joshua is a very fascinating book. And particularly the starting point of Joshua is very relevant for us as we come for a celebration. Because it reminds us that God is going to do something new. Every celebration has two aspects. One is to look back and see all that the Lord has done. But one is also to look ahead and recognize that God is yet to do the best. Sometimes it's easy to look back and take pride on what has been accomplished. But what God really wants from you and me is to look ahead and recognize that much more needs to be done. And all that God requires from you and me is that we are dedicated, committed people. It is often said that God is not looking for ability, He is looking for availability. So it doesn't matter who you are or what your capability is. If you are committed to the Lord, He can do great things. As we get into our text, I want to start with a funny story. This is a story of the great scientist by the name of Albert Einstein. Einstein, as some of you may know, was a very, very brilliant man. And when he became famous, he was invited to different colleges, to different places to come and lecture. And so Einstein went on this lecturing tour from one place to another. But as brilliant as Einstein was, he didn't know how to drive a car. So he hired a driver. So the driver would take him from one college to another college. And Einstein would deliver his lecture. Some weeks into delivering his lectures, Einstein got fed up of saying the same thing over and over again. So he told the driver, I'm really fed up of saying the same thing again and again. So the driver told him, look, the next college does not know how you look. So let's switch places. Change places. You become my driver and I will become Einstein. I have heard you lecture so often, I have memorized it word to word. So I will become Einstein and I will deliver the lecture. And you become my driver and you sit over there. So Einstein took up the challenge. In the next college, as they entered, Einstein introduced the driver as himself. And to Einstein's amazement, the driver delivered a perfect lecture. But then something happened that Einstein or the driver had not thought about. The chairperson of the service, he got up and he said, we have 5 minutes remaining. If somebody wants to ask a question, they can ask the question. And so a professor of mathematics stood up and asked a very complicated question. The driver had no clue what he's asking about. So the driver thought for a minute. He looked at this professor.
Ini profesor pun niya taha.
And he said, "Sir, I'm surprised that you would ask such a question."
Aru madi kaya mana sir, ama nakapos kali singeni nanga nagsanti soal inawa santi aga na.
The answer to your question is so simple.
Ini no aran sari no ngeni no mupa ara sakali o ara sakala.
It is so simple
Ina mendo mo nga
that even my driver knows the answer.
ang driver ba ko biya nga ana.
I'm saying that he called Einstein to give the answer.
Aru Einstein ko aran sa biya ka biya ang ngeni wala.
You know, that story reminds us of a very important truth.
Ini biya golbo asa na main concept pa biya ka nito ang awita.
You can talk like an Einstein, you can lecture like an Einstein, but that does not make you an Einstein.
Na Einstein kita agar bangin Einstein na kita bangin iba Einstein do na jawa.
And I want to say the same thing to you as you follow Christ.
Ini biya semua dia aran marke datang prapan dan asa saban dia situ dari ko pangwa.
You can really sing beautifully, maybe you can quote the Bible, but that does not make you a Christian.
Sing samsung ko sing kul kara pada aran mana ni biya asa kita na pada itu aja.
Who is a Christian?
Christian is sawa.
A Christian is someone who's committed to Christ.
Christian na jiya sila ang ko ang pa ha.
It is not just the knowledge,
Yan ang sing biya ni aja.
it is not just the words,
Ayan kata ma aja.
but it is the lifestyle that speaks.
Hindi biya sing jadi tanga ni ha.
Our passage today essentially reminds us of that truth.
Aru yan sing horai ke bansa so yan sing iskara na.
It begins on a note by telling us when we look at Joshua chapter 1 verse 1.
Yan no sing Joshua uday sa pon sa bigyan mo kita magin.
It begins with these words, after the death of Moses,
Yan mo sini say jamano ningan ko kata siya singa.
the Lord called Joshua to take his place.
Aru wan Joshua ko dari mo sini ko rana akan di ko ma.
Now this was a time when things were changing.
Yan jadi sing sa ko sumayo ang ba ko to ma.
If you know your Bible, you would know who Moses was.
Asing sa so ko iye sa mo sa Moses so ko iye.
You know, Moses was this man to whom the Lord had appeared in the wilderness.
Ay mo sini yan diyan isu na dili Bondi mo na bakang bago ma.
God spoke to him through the burning bush.
Ini bondi mo bani ke wal ni ibang una kana ha.
God commissioned him to go to Pharaoh.
Pharaoh na yan na ko isu wala pa ha.
And it was Moses who stood before Pharaoh and said, "Thus says the Lord, let my people go."
Aru mo siyan rami na wa Pharaoh na isu na ti agana hunna ni padang yan siya na agana ha.
The 9 plagues that followed were all, in some sense, came through Moses.
Isku sare sabisi ko dane wa musi kitan dane wa matlab Pharaoh ni ya pona isu wala pa ha.
The people of Israel had seen how Moses would raise his staff and the water of Red Sea had parted.
Niman musi kaya ke bini ko ko ay na wa sadal ko bakit sakata ya ko isu igana na ha.
On Moses' prayer, food was delivered from heaven.
Aru ni musi ni ko musi ko dakal ni wa ma sabi ko ha.
And so Moses was this great man.
Ni musi na ngi talpa mande wa.
He was the liberator, literally, of the people of Israel.
Wan may Israel mandaran ko ni isipin ko dapat ko pa ma.
But the Bible begins in this chapter by telling us that this great man of God was no more.
Hindi niya sa sa kasi talpa mande yo dum jaha.
And God was calling Joshua to take his place.
Ni ba do yani gyapon je isola Joshua ko kam sainga.
I'm sure Joshua must have been afraid.
Ama sanchi ay Joshua somay thirenge.
I'm sure Joshua must have asked himself this question, how in the world am I going to lead these people?
Hayda sanchi ama mai dali mandiran ko dilage na Joshua sanchi
He knew that the people of Israel were very difficult.
dia Israel mandaran na main dengu ko para wa muna.
They were people who were constantly grumbling.
Aru wa mga phangan takra ko mai muna wa dia.
They were people who were never satisfied.
Aru wa mga phangan chuni ko mai muna dia.
And so he knew that the leadership of this group was not an easy task.
Ni mendak ko mandaran ko dilage gan altu ko ngai mo wa dia.
But it is in that context that the Lord reminds Joshua of some important truths.
Ni mendak ko wa sa ni so Joshua ko isip rasa.
And I want to bring those truths to you this evening.
Aru ya bebe ko ni samay wa nga nasmana kana ng dia.
And even as we get into that text,
Aru ya santo ko parai won.
I want to ask you this question.
Yes, man ko asas niya.
Who is or who has been a Moses to you?
Yes, so yan ang nara mo sa sawa mo sa sainga.
Your sense of security.
Singni adong na marami.
Your sense that, okay, this person will do everything.
Ya mandiyan ko ko takna mangko ma nila sing ya sanjia.
Sometimes it can be a job.
Hayda basa ko di iya sina tham ngabo duma.
Sometimes it can be a financial source.
Hayda basa ko din maka bisa para chul ngabo duma.
Sometimes it can be a relationship itself.
Hayda basa ko yan sina nangalmani ngabo duma.
And sometimes the Lord will take that away from you.
Aru basa ko di isor nagwar manjumani ko ram ngana.
He may take that relationship away.
Asing nangalmani nagwar isor ngabo duma.
He may take that source of income away.
Hayda sina taka bisa ram duma mara isor ngabo ram ngabo duma.
He may even take that person away
basa ko mai wala ko mandi ngabo sina ram ngabo duma.
to remind you of the simple truth.
Hindi ba iya bedi ko ya sumaya ko ya tanan klara.
At the end of the day, you need to depend on Him and not on anything else.
Hindi ba sabi ko pa mo asing daralo maksaki jan di ba nang mangkakan
As God took Moses away
isor musi ko ha.
and He raised Joshua
Hindi ba wan Joshua ko darus ha.
to do His work,
Musi kampo daksana.
the Bible reminds us that people will come and go, but God's work will always continue.
Saso agana mandirang sigen di ba isori ngapa ba ya to ano jalan dongin.
His work does not depend on individuals.
Uni kata nasi mo bangsa to bongja.
His work depends on committed hearts.
Ni uni kata asli ni don kan pa kato mo sa bangsa ka.
And so if you have a committed heart, the Lord can do great things through you.
Ni nasiyong ni kan pa kabung dongit mo de iso nasi mo zakali ko talaran ko nakin.
And so right at the beginning, the Lord tells Joshua, do not be afraid.
Ni niya apa sing pa ba ko nagi agana iso na agana Joshua ko kinda sina ni mana.
In fact, when you read Joshua chapter 1, verses 1 to 9,
Joshua odaisa बहुत सारे पोस्ट को पढ़ाए होते
you will see that the Lord time and again tells Joshua, do not be afraid.
हिंदा पे इतनी बड़ा महान सुमयन जिसों ने आने को लिखा मगे
Because he knew that Joshua is afraid.
मैंने हुआ हुआ जो जोशुआ हिंदू को वहाँ
Maybe you are here this evening having some fear in your heart.
हर ये आता हूँ राशि में सब बोलते भाई बात इन्होंने इसे घूमने लगा दूँगा
Maybe there is some anxiety that is weighing on your heart.
है ना भाई बात को सब कुछ जाने रहा नशीबा होने लगा दूँगे
And I believe the Lord wants to say to you this evening, do not be afraid.
ini kah sanksiya ya semua isu nak buka hari nabi
Because I am with you.
है ना नंग बक्सा दूँगा
I am greater than Moses, I am greater than Joshua.
हम मुझे ने पत्ते को माँ और जोशुआ ने पत्ते को माँ
And the one who has led the people of Israel all these years,
और ये ऋषि गानों दरे जियान इज़राइल को देखो पा
he's the one who says to you and me this evening, I am Emmanuel, God with us.
इन वह समय आगन के पास समय आंगा ईमान में उनका आंगा पाना जोना दोंगान का पाव इस ओर
And so as you look at this particular text, God gives Joshua 3 promises.
या साल सौ तो जोशुआ ने इस ओर मुझे सुना सका इको ना
When you look at verse 2, this is what the Bible says.
बहुत के लिए देखिए साल सौ हमारा
The Lord tells Joshua that Moses is dead,
the मोसेस यहाँ नहीं बना हमें नको मोसेस यहाँ नहीं सो हमारा
but I am about to give to you all this land.
नहीं बताओ यहाँ आपको मन ना उनके नहीं बना इस ओर हमारा
In other words, what is the Lord telling Joshua?
मुझे पता नहीं कि जोशुआ इस ओर में आने का
He's telling that Moses is dead, but I am still alive.
मुझे पता है कि ऐसे होते हैं मोसेस चीजों को नहीं तो आगे इस ओर तक उनको पाऊंगा
Moses is no longer here, but I will continue to lead you and guide you.
मोसेस और दुनिया में भी आगे मुखान जीवन ऐसी बातों निकाल दूँगे हिंदा हुआ करिया
And so the first promise that I see over here
खान के बाद ये उन्हें पूरा सकालिया
is that in the midst of changing situations,
खान के बाद चेंज संगपा अवस्था हुआ
we have an unchanging God.
ini ba iso ni bintang ni jaga poma
Your situations may change.
asin ko bahut sare bintang na baduma
Your life will go through difficulties.
asin jangi thare nahi kare ko bana baduma
But the one thing that never changes,
asin bagisa ni mamang sa bintang ni jaga poma
that is who God is
arwan iso ma
and what He has done for us.
arun iwan iso rasna da karo bana
The Lord very specifically tells Joshua
iso ni kan mate joshua na agana
that I will be with you.
aman nang baksa ungin
And that's the promise that the Lord makes to you and me.
और ये अक्सर मतलब पुरस्कार इस ओर दादा अंगना और अंगना का पुरस्कार
That He will continue to be with us.
वो अंतरिम बक्सों मां कुगेन
You know, it is said that in the Bible there are 365 fear nots.
चार कथाम सबसे सबसे पुआ
365 fear nots.
किनाबे इनको कपड़ चार करता है सांस और आगाना चार कथाम सबसे पुआ दुआ
Because the Lord knows that we are fearful people.
मैंने इस ओर भी अंतिम पाना का अंतिम प्राप्त किंगा कपाव देना हुआ
And one of the things as you look at those promises is this,
और मुनिसा इस ओर पुरस्कार यार हुआ
is that the Lord never promises that He will take you through an easy life.
और उन्हीं पुरस्कार फंगन हुआ अच्छी नाम देखे अंतिम कुपा हमको ऑर्गेनिक जो करता
On the contrary, what the Lord promises is this,
Ayan, isuon ko sa kanin dako nung
He says, you will have troubles,
na ningkay ko man gen.
but I will be with you.
Di ba nga nang baksong gen.
I will never leave you nor forsake you,
Nang mamung sa luwa ka jawa.
but I will walk with you even through the valley of shadow of death.
Di ba nga nang siya atau ni sila jawa nang baksong gen.
And so in some sense it is His presence that carries us forward.
Aru wan ko ya sing ko mukhang singa ina na.
It is His presence that gives us the power.
Aru yan ako ba isuon ko man ya sing ko na.
You know, I have a 2-year-old daughter.
Sige niyo ko ba bisa doon?
And from time to time, we have to take her to the doctor to get an injection.
Araw nga mga sumayan ko, doktor siya na bigyan sila na nga.
And every time she is given an injection, she cries.
Araw bigyan sila na nga, grabe nga.
Now imagine if I would take a medical book,
정치들이 mga doon, 사람들이 이건 sige ba kitakpo priyawe?
and if I opened the medical book and told my 2-year-old daughter, look, I am giving you this medicine for this disease.
Araw nga yung kitakpo, batang mo na yung nakapa sampo, hindi na ang virus na karoon.
She's 2 years old.
Sige niyo nga.
Do you think she will read that book and say, okay, that makes a lot of sense, I will stop crying?
Nasimang saksiman, iya po, purahin mo na, araw, kapan natin ang gima?
No, absolutely not.
Umja, ito nga.
She will continue to cry.
Grabe ko again.
The only way I can console my daughter
Ang sa ko ang kalimutan man ni
is when I pick her up
Kenzo na pinipungin.
and I hold her close to me.
Araw ipatin.
And I let her know that I am there for her.
Araw ang nang baksa dumani ang sa.
That's the best way I can console my daughter.
Dati sa ang dito kalimutan man gen.
You know, that's exactly what God does for you and me.
Dati miso dalo at sila nang nabata niya.
In our pain, in our difficulty, and in our struggle,
At ni sabi kay ramo at ni negli kay ramo.
God comes and picks us up and holds us close.
So revive na sa ko dito ma pama.
He does not tell us why we are going through that difficulty.
Kuni mo na sing bayna yan ini kay ko malenga ndo aran jawa.
Sometimes He does not explain why we have to go through that problem.
Kaya basa ko man sila ini kay ko malenga ko akan sa tren mo.
But the one thing that He tells us with surety is this, that He will always be with us.
Kaya mo isa ko iskrabo wan hangna na sing makso man na.
And that's why the psalmist says in Psalm 23 that when you walk through the valley of shadow of death, I am with you.
Kuni kita ko ko ni ko ma siya ako no. Siya ni ako yung isa mo ba ang makso ma.
When we go through life with all the changes that happen around us,
Actually, jangan pangalim, mari kita bikin lingkang mari nampo sarong yang rumah.
when we go through life with all the uncertainty and the questions that face us,
Lagi mari pa orang jaga pa mari mas nami lang pasing sarong yang.
what a joy it is to know that the God we serve is the same yesterday, today, and forever.
Kemudian macam tu sih orang ni isu jangan pangna jom apa yang orang tahu apa yang orang bukan jadi bawa.
He will never leave us or forsake us.
Pemahaman selalu macam tu ada doa.
And that in and through this God, we are more than conquerors, we are victorious.
Ari isu ni kata saya jangan mengasah yang siapa ni pada mari ko apa.